Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to one and all present here. Hope you all are doing well. I am Khushi Mahavar, your virtual host for today's session. On behalf of HackBMU organizing team, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you to another pre-hackathon speaker session at HackBMU edition 4.0, elevating the level of a hackathon that has a legacy of providing a welcoming and supportive environment to all the participants to develop their skills this year by going virtual and utilizing the power of communication technology. HackBMU 4.0 will host a series of workshops and tech talks throughout the month of March and April. These workshops will allow HackBMU participants to gain in-depth knowledge about new technologies, technical communities, and much more. To know more, visit us at www.hackbmu.tech. So, without further ado, let's get started with today's session. Well, you must be wondering what building a web solution is. Technically, a web solution is a program distributed over a network, typically a corporate intranet or the internet, which is made accessible through a common web browser. Web-based solutions deal with building hundreds of websites and custom applications for customers of all sizes. In this session, we will learn about building web solution with Google Devs products. For the workshop, we have with us our esteemed speaker, Mr. Vrijraj Singh, to enlighten you about the topic. Mr. Vrijraj Singh is an organizer for GTJ Jalandhar and a Google developers expert for Firebase and web technologies. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started with our session. Mr. Vrijraj, the virtual stage is all yours.
Yeah, thank you so much once again for having me, HackBMU entire team. So, can we have a slide on the screen? Yeah, can you add a slide on the screen? Yeah, got it. So, thank you so much, HackBMU team, and wish you all the best for the hackathon. And here I'm Vrijraj, and I'm Google developer expert for web technology and Firebase. And today I'm going to talk about building web solution with the help of Google developers technologies. So let's start it. So little bit introduction, as you know, like I'm GD for web and Firebase, and also I'm organizer for GDG Jalandhar community. Also, I'm working on various developer technologies like PWA, Firebase, AMP, Google Chrome, and Google Cloud Platform. And also, I'm running a YouTube channel named Tech for Men. So today I'm going to talk about two things. Like first is web fundamental because as you know, if you are building a solution, whether it can be related to web, mobile, or any other platform. So first you're going to have to go through the fundamental concept, and then you will be able to build a solution. And then we'll talk about the Google developers products that you can use for making highly performant, scalable web applications. So let's start it with the first is web solution. So as you know, like what is a web solution? So web is just like as a platform where we can run our documents. It may be like web documents, maybe considered as a web page, or you can share the file, maybe PDF, audio file, text file, and this is a web platform. So if I talk about like web platform, so we have a first terminology is called as website. So what is a website? Website is just like as a collections of web page, and each web page consists of like picture, audio, video, and the text file. Or you can write your web page with the help of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, where HTML provide the structure for your web page, and if you want to add some design part, you can go for the CSS. And the third, you can go implement the additional functionality, or you can alive your web page with the help of JavaScript. And each website have their specific entry page, which is also called as home page, or you can also define index.html, default.html. And each website have their specific website name. We also call as a website name as a domain name, for example google.com, twitter.com, linkedin.com. So as you know already, like we have a website, we can create a website with the help of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now I need to run a website. So where we can run a web page. So we need a browser. For with the help of browser, you can run your web page. Similarly, if you are working on C++, first you need to write a code and then you need to execute your code. So for executing your code, you need an IDE. Similarly, we have a browser. With the help of browser, you can run your web page. So browser is just like as a software where you can run your web page, or user can see the web page, locate the web page and display the web page. And in the market, like we have a lot of browsers. Like if I talk about Google Chrome, Mozilla, Safari, Opera, and there are a lot of things. And each browser have their specific rendering engine is just like as a main engine which is responsible for running your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. So for example, if I talk about Google Chrome, so we have a running in like engine which is also like the name engine name is Blink. And there is another inside Blink engine. We have a Chrome V8 engine, which is also responsible for running your JavaScript code. If I talk about Mozilla, we have SpiderMonkey, and if I talk about Opera, we have WebKit. So there are a lot of browsers, and have the, like each browser have their specific rendering engine. And the third, we need a server. So like you first part we have covered, like we can create a website. Second part, we can run our website with the help of browser. Now my web page should be accessible to n number of location or from n number of devices. So we need a server where we can upload our web page and user can access that web page from the different locations or remote locations. So server is just like as a computer, like normal PC, where you can upload your HTML code, CSS code, or JavaScript code, or maybe any other file like PDF, audio file, video file, and through a specific URL you can access those files. So this is a one of the best example for the server. So server is just like as a normal computer which is designed to process the request from the browser, and it will deliver the data to the browser. Okay. And in the market we have three types of server. First one is web server, second one is email server, and the third one is file server. So first one is web server. So we use web server for serving a web page over the network. For example, if you are accessing a website like gmail.com or twitter.com, google.com, so basically you are requesting a web page to the server, like I need a web page for xyz particular URL. So there is a web server. So web server is using a specific protocol which is also called as HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. And the third one is whenever you are like sending or receiving a mail over the network. So we have an email server. So email server, we have a protocol like SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, or you can go for the POP, post office protocol. And the third, like if you are downloading or uploading a file over the network, so we have a file server. So like whenever you go to the drive.google.com or Google Drive or Dropbox or any other file storage online platform, so what you are doing, you are uploading a file, you are downloading a file. So there is a file server as a system. And with the help of file servers, you have to basically work on the protocol like FTP, file transfer protocol. And like these three server will be combination, can work as a combinations. For example, if you open a website like gmail.google.com, so first you are requesting a web page, so there is a web server. And then if you go to the compose section and then you are start typing your email, and then we'll click on the send button, so there will be a email server. On the email, if you are trying to add your file or upload a file in the email box, so there is a file server. So similarly for the Google Drive, if you're accessing a Google Drive, first you are requesting to the web browser, and then after browser is visible, then you will be able to upload or download the file through the file server. And like if I talk about specifically web server, so mainly you have to work on nginx. Like you have a if you are working on like node.js, so basically you have to work on nginx server. And the second one is my Apache. Like if you are familiar with PHP, you can go for the Apache as a web server. And the third, like if you're working on .NET or C Sharp, you can go for the Microsoft IIS. And like we have another terminology in the like web fundamental. So first one is like we have a database. So database is just like a system or a software where we can add or update or delete, and we can organize our data, structure our data. So like in the market, we have a two type of database, like structured database, and the second one is unstructured database. So structured database is just like we have a structured data, which have a schema. And for example, schema in terms of like we can store our data into database, like in terms of tables, like we have a rows and we have a columns. So we can upload the data in the form of tables, which is also called as relational database. And this is one of the best database example is MySQL, which is a part of structured database. And if I talk about unstructured database means the data is unstructured, like which has no schema. It may be user generated data, or it may be textual data or machine generated data. So you can go for the MongoDB, which is unstructured database. We have a document, we have a collections. So inside collections, we can create a multiple documents, and each document can have a multiple fields. So this is basically hierarchy. So if you want to like start your career in web platform, so basically you have to aware about four terminologies, like what is a website, what is a web browser, and the third one is server, and the fourth part is database. Now, this is a basic fundamental. Like, if you have an idea about how we can create applications or software, so this is a kind of feeling for the web developer. Yes, I can earn money through my skills. So, like now, I'll talk about the Google Developer product. Like any, as we know, like we can create a website, we can create any other web applications with the help of like backend technologies like Node.js, or we can use any database like MongoDB. You can use whatever they. So today, I'm going to talk about some Google Developers product from PWA to Google Chrome platform. I know this order is different than you have seen in your day-to-day life. These are the few technologies in a web platform or products which you can use for making your web solution more highly scalable, performant, accessible, and you can go for it. So let's start it with the first platform or a product. So as you know, like we have a terminology like website and the web apps. So what is a website or what is a web app? So website is just like as a informational things, like whenever you are opening a website like wikipedia.com, wikipedia can be considered as a website where we have information. User can see the information and you can just close the tab, that's it. And what is a web app? Web app is just like as a website plus additional functionality. Like user can log in, and they're having a personalized content. For X user, the content will be different. For Y user, content will be different. And there may be some other features like notifications and all. Now we have a third more terminology that you can go for the enhancement of your user experience, which one is progressive web apps. Progressive web apps is just like as a best approach for the developers or user to work your website. Like you can run your website without the internet. Like we have like it will like this is a website that will look like as a native applications. Like if I'm using Android operating system. So if I run a website on my Chrome browser, and there will be a pop-up add to home screen, and you will be able to install that application website into the Android applications, which will look like as a native application. Similarly, if you open twitter.com in your browser, so there is a button add to home screen, so that your website will be converted into the native applications. And with the help of push notifications, the progressive web apps, there are a lot of features you can implement. Like you can send a push notification to the user. You can support offline, like if you have no internet connections. So first, if you are working on PWA, so your data will be cached offline. So you will, if you do not have internet connections, you are still able to access the data. And yeah, so from Chrome 70 onwards, like you can also, like if you have a website, you can also convert your website into the native platform for the desktop. Like if you are working on Windows operating system, so you just open a website like twitter.com, and there is a plus symbol, and then you need to click on the plus symbol, and there is a pop-up like you can install that applications into the Windows or Linux or Mac OS. And this is an example for the Twitter. So this is a Twitter PWA. And yes, and one more thing, like as you know, like we have a website, so we can provide a user experience that will look like as a core native applications. Like for example, if I'm working on Android applications, so if I have created a PWA, so my PWA look like as a native applications. So now my like PWA, I can upload that PWA to the Google Play Store. Yes, we can create like Android applications that will look like as a native applications. So this one is for the mobile developers, like mobile developers. Basically you have to you have to work on Java, or you can go for the Kotlin or any other cross platform like Flutter or Cordova. There are a lot of things that you can go for it. And yes, this feature is called as PWA, Trusted Web Activities. Like first, user need to go for the website, and then your website will be converted into the PWA, and then your PWA will be you need to upload that PWA into the Google Play Store, and this entire like your whenever you are downloading a PWA on from Google Play Store, so this is application is called as Trusted Web Activities. So whenever you go to the Google Play Store and there is an application with the light as a keyword, like Oyo Light, Flipkart Light, these all are the application which is also built on web platform. Basically, these all are the PWA part. Okay. And to know more about PWA, you can just visit the link wedge.webpage.link/TWA. Yeah, so this is again for the mobile developers. Like, yes, as a web developer, we can create a platform or an application which will support on a native other operating system. For example, I can create a website which can run as a native application on Android, iOS, or any operating system like Windows, Mac OS, or any other things. Now, like PWA, so basically overall PWA is a approach where you can provide a good user experience that will have a lot of features like offline support, push notifications, and user can install your website into the operating system. And the second one is PWA for desktop. Like if you are, whenever you are accessing the website on the desktop, you're still able to create a PWA. And the third one is trusted web activities. Like if you have a PWA, you can upload your PWA into the Google Play Store, which is also called as trusted web activities. And again, this is just like in simple way, पहले इस्तेमाल करें फिर विश्वास करें. I know this is the latest technology. Like if you go to the website like Flipkart.com in your mobile Chrome browser, so if you just need to open the website and you have to wait for a few seconds, and there is a pop-up add to home screen. So how PWA is companies are using PWA for increasing the user base. Similarly, Twitter is working for the PWA and all. Now, like this is a feeling for the developers. Like yeah, so this is a great technology, PWA. Like I can increase my user base. Now, like whenever you are creating a solution, maybe a web platform or web solutions. So कर दिया कुछ भी. For example, you have created a website name is example.com, and sometime there might be issues like your website is loading, and then you have to wait for a time, and then still loading, and then you have to again wait for a time, and then so like look at this guy, like user will frustrate it if the loading time of your website is more than like 3 or 4 seconds. User will leave your website. So in general use case, like mostly 53% user will leave the website if it takes more than 3 seconds. So what you have to do, you have to optimize your website. So you have to reduce the JavaScript code, you have to reduce unused part of CSS code. And like this is the toughest challenges task for the developers. Like first you developer need to create a website, and then your website should be accessible or performant, so you have to optimize your website. So this is a again challenging task for the developers, and this is a condition for the developers. First they need to create a website, and second is for the optimizing purpose. So yeah, I think is little bit tricky task for the developers. So that's why like a concept came into the picture where Google have build this is a web component framework, which is also called as AMP, Accelerated Mobile Page. So it's a open source project created for creating a super fast web page, and it is a web component framework. So Google is using AMP to serve the web page or serve the Google search result within a few milliseconds. So if you want to check the super fast web page in the like as existing internet, so you just go to the link g.go co/amp demo. So you might have seen this thing in your day to day life. So these all are the things is working on AMP. So with the help of AMP, you can create accelerated mobile page. You can create a website. You can create a stories. Stories is just like as an Instagram state stories or WhatsApp stories. And the third, you can create an interactive email with the help of AMP. And the fourth one is you can go for the ads. You can provide ads and all. So first, let's talk about how we can create a Instagram like AMP website. So AMP website is basically these website are very fast as compared to the standard web page. So look at this website. Like whenever you go to the Google and then you will search for a result, and within a few milliseconds you will be able to see the website, and that's it. So we have a in the right side we have a regular web page, and the left hand we have a AMP web page. So these are the difference within a few seconds, and you got the answer, and that's it. And the second, you can create interactive stories with the help of AMP. So what are the stories? Like if you go to the like play applications like Instagram, WhatsApp, or Facebook, or LinkedIn, so there is a section for the stories. So there is a one challenges or a drawback for the users. Like I have, for example, I have shared some stories on Instagram platform. So user need to install the Instagram application for accessing data stories. So there is a drawback. So that's why M stories came into the picture, which is the interactive stories you can create, and this is application independent. Like you just need a web browser and then you have a URL. You just need to open the URL and then you will be able to see the stories. And these stories are very fast, dynamic. You can add multiple contents in terms of you can add images, video file, audio file, and you can also add some animations. So if you go to the sections like in your Android devices, like Google Discover sections, you can check out these stories. And similarly, if you open the search result, if you go to the mobile browser in the Chrome section, and then you just need to search Sundar Pichai, and then if you can scroll down, there is a section for the stories. So you will be able to see the stories. And there are a lot of companies, publishers who are implementing web stories or M stories. Just NDTV, if you can check NDTV website, so we have a section for AMP stories. You can check out these things. Now, with the help of AMP, you can also create interactive emails. What are the interactive emails? So, like generally, what we have to do, like if you have a web, like for example, if you check if you have visited some hotel, and then you will get a feedback mail in your Gmail box to feedback to give the rating for the hotel. So whatever you're doing, like you need to go to the Gmail and then you could have to go for the email, particular email, and there is a button give us a rating. So when you click on the give us on the rating button, you will be redirected to the new tab, and then there is a web form, and then you need to fill the web form. So this is a tricky part for the developers or the user to switch to the next step. So that's why AMP email came into the picture. With the help of AMP email, user can add or developer can add interactive element like carousel, rating button, confirmation button, purchase button, and user not need to move to the next step. For example, look, check this email like Uyo. So within an email, you can directly check out the link, you can check out the content, you can check out the rating within a mail. You don't need to navigate to the new browser before accessing that things. So similarly, Google is also using email as a concept. So whenever you are working on Google Docs, so you can add a comment, you can share the file. So you don't need to navigate to the new browser. You can do that within an email, and that's it. So this is a part of AMP email. And the last, like you can create like super fast ads with the help of AMP email. These ads are very fast, performant, and you can provide a distributed pattern with the help of AMP ads. So see how AMP ads are faster than regular ads. Like within a few seconds, ads will be visible, and that's it. So how AMP is working? So AMP is built on three code components. So first one is AMP HTML, second one is AMP JS, third one is AMP caches. So what is a AMP HTML? AMP HTML is a modified version of HTML tags. For example, if you are working on HTML, we have an image tag, or if you're working on like HTML, like for example, we have video tag. But if you're working on AMP HTML, so we have a modified version of HTML tags, like we have AMP hyphen image tag, AMP hyphen video tag. And the second, we have a AMP.js library, which is implement all the best performance practices and manage the resources over the web page. And the third one is AMP caches, which is responsible for making your web page faster, and it will implement the caches strategies. So how we can create an AMP page? So you can create an AMP page. You just need to follow the two things. First, you need to add AMP as an attribute in your HTML tag, and the second, you need to import AMP.js library. So this is a simple example. Like I have added AMP as a attribute in HTML tag, and then in the third line I have imported the AMP.js library, and that's it. This is my AMP page, which is very fast as compared to the regular page. And to know more about AMP, you can check out the link amp.dev, and you will get the playground, and you will get the documentation about AMP and how we can use AMP and all. So this is a basic like one of the best thing for the developers. Don't need to focus on the optimizing part. They can directly use these things and to increase the performance and all. So like if I talk about student life or like early stage like IT professional, so we have ideas, we have a lot of ideas. So sometimes you feel like, yes, I have an idea, I want to implement a solutions, I can start my startup. So how can I start my startup? So like there might be a like this can be a stage like you are confused like how to start, what are the technical steps we need to follow for our product. Maybe we can go for the database, like NoSQL database or structured database or any other database, or how to start, we have no idea. And somehow we decided the stack, like we can go for the XYZ particular technology, and this is the application architecture. Then you need to write a code, and a lot of code, low code, and code. And there might be some issues related to security, code implementation, managing database, or making it easy to accessible to all the user. And that's why there is a unified platform for the developers that they can use for increasing the accessibilities and code implementation fast. So there is a platform you can use, Firebase. So what is a Firebase? So Firebase is a developer platform that you can use, or developer with the help of this platform, developer will create a will create a lot of like super fast web applications or any other web applications or any other solution with the help of Firebase. And they can develop high quality and scalable applications with the help of Firebase. User, they can earn more profit in terms of user. You can increase your user base. And one of the best thing about Firebase, you don't need to manage the infrastructure. Firebase team, they are providing a lot of services. You just need to use that services. So Firebase's vision is to help the developer succeed. So one of the best thing about Firebase, you can use Firebase for like if you're working as a iOS developer, you can use Firebase. If you're working on mobile platform like Android or Flutter or iOS, you can also use Firebase. And the third, like web developer, they can also use Firebase. And the fourth one, you can if you're working on C++, you can also use it. The five, like if you're working on game developer platform, you can use Firebase, and that's it. So like as you know, like Firebase is providing a lot of services. So each services is Firebase is divided into the three main categories of the services. So first one is build better applications. And the second one is improve your app quality, and the third one is increase your user base. Like for example, like as a web developer, so for example, I need to add authentication feature in my web page, so I can go for the authentication service of the Firebase. Or if I want to use database, so Firebase is also providing a database. So we have a database like Cloud Firestore or real-time database. Or if you're working on machine learning, you can go for the machine learning as like tools or a service. So we have a lot of things that you can use inside Firebase, and you can build your applications very fast. So like with the help of Firebase, you can easily say like my solution is ready, and that's it. Super fast. Okay, so to know more about Firebase, you can visit the link firebase.google.com, and you will get the documentation about the Firebase, how we can use. And Firebase is very easy for the developers. You just need to import the library SDK file, and then there is a functionality which services you want to use. Like suppose you want to use authentication, so you need to use a functionality, a set of functions or a methods. You just need to use. That's it. Now, like I'm going to talk about some Chrome developers. Like if you're working on Chrome browser, so we have like for the developers, like user, they can implement that functionality. So we have a Chrome developers APIs. So first one is APIs is shape detection APIs. Like you can create web applications, and you don't need to write a logic for the machine learning like barcode detection or face detection or text detections. They are pre-built APIs that you can use within a Chrome. Like for example, we have a fetch APIs. So whenever you are requesting REST APIs, like you need to work on fetch as a method. So similarly, we have a shape detection APIs. With the help of these APIs, you can detect barcode, you can detect face, you can detect like text from the images. And you can check out the developer documentations like web.dev/shape detection. Here we can find docs about how we can check. And like you have seen, like if you go to the like some of the web page, and then you need to enter your mobile number, and there will be a OTP in your mobile device. So whatever you have to what you have to do, you have to go to the message box, and then copy the OTP file, OTP code, and paste into the text area and click on the next button. But with the help of OTP APIs, it will automatically detect the OTP number from the SMS section or messaging app, and that's it. You don't need to copy paste go for it. And and there is a one more features, like you can use web share APIs. Like suppose you have created a website, so like you have a website, there is a button, share button, so you can share your website to the native applications. Native application means like you can share your website. When you click on this button, there is a UI like in the photo sections, so there is a native application platform, so you can share your application across the native applications like Bluetooth, WhatsApp, Instagram, or any other applications. So there is a real example. You can go for it like centertrackers.google.com. Here you can find the web share APIs as a demo. And this is example like like web share APIs. Like we have a share as a object in a navigator. So you just need to follow this code, and you can implement this thing. And the next one part is batch detections. Like if you are working on Android or iOS as an operating system, phone operating system, so there is a batches. Like we have 8 mails, we have six file or six notifications. So we can implement that things in a web platform. Like this one is for the PWA. So like if you're working on PWA, so you can create a batch. And this is a simple example for creating a batch. So for implementing a batch, you just need to follow this code, windows.batch.set, and then you need to pass the number, and that's it. And we have one more APIs, like if you're working on web platform. So I'll give you the example, like there is a website, and here we have a website to add contact informations. So you just need to click a button, no need to copy paste the mobile number from contact directory. You just need to click on the button share contact, and there is a UI, and you can directly share the contact details in the website. And this is a contact picker APIs you can implement. And this is an example for the picker APIs. So we have an object like options. So right now, multiple is false, means only one contact will be shared on the website. And there is a property. I need a email, name, and the telephone number, and that's it. So if you want to use multiple, if you say multiple is equal to true, so you can share multiple contact directory within with the help of these APIs. Now, like everyone is the hot topic is machine learning. So like yes, machine learning. Like as of now, like if you are working on machine learning, you have to mostly working on the Python. But as a web developer, we can also implement the machine learning concept. So we have a framework, TensorFlow.js is a library that you can use for implementing the machine learning algorithm. Or there are pre-built machine learning set of models that you can use in the web platform. You can run those machine learning model with the help of browser. So you can check out the link like tensorflow.org/js. So we have a pre-trained machine learning model. You can just need to load the URL and you can write your machine learning model or you can use it on the browser side. And like this one is for the material design. Like if you are a designer, so like design part is much more important for the users, because your UX, you need to create a user that will be understandable by the layman person. So there is a guideline for the developers. You can go for the machine learning material guideline, material design guidelines. So there is a website material.io. They are providing a guidelines for the UI, UX, like for what are the color you can use for the button and what are the theme you can go for it. And there are a lot of things. So now, yeah, so whenever you are creating a website, you need to implement a fonts. So you have to take care of the privacy and policy of the font, like whether we can use font publicly or not. So you can go for the Google font as a like website where you can check the like fonts. There are open source font, and you can use these font in your website. Now, this is a lot of uh, good package for the developers that you can use for creating web solution. So, like this is a kind of feeling like इतना सब कुछ अब तो मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ. Like we can create a website with the help of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We can run our website on the browser. We can serve our website through the server part, and then my website should be installable. So we can go for the PW approach, and I need to create a website which is very fast, so I can go for the AMP as a concept, accelerated mobile page. And then in the website we can add additional functionality like image text detection or image detections. You can do that anything. So at last, this is not a end. Yes, picture abhi baki hai. So as you know, like web has endless possibilities. Like we have a lot of terminologies in the web platform. So there are a lot of new things in the web technologies like Project Fugu, Deno, and a lot of things. So it's totally up to you how you can use these platform or services or a technology to design a successful product or a solution to make it more performant and accessible. So it's totally up to you. But like if you are good in like any other XYZ technology, you can go for it, and you have to follow the best practices so that your web solution should be accessible, performant, and scalable. So yeah, so as you know, like I'm also running a YouTube channel named Tech Ferment, where I'm also providing a video tutorial on these technologies like AMP, PWA, Firebase. So you can check out the link like techferment.com. You can go to the website, and that's all. So thank you so much. I'm open for the questions.
Guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Mr. Vrijraj in the chat box.
Yeah.
So we have one question from Shivang Ahuja. Can you please tell the purpose of PWAs? What makes it different from normal apps?
Okay, like PWA, one of the best thing about PWA, like your website will work. Like if you do not have an internet connection, you're still able to access your website with the help of PWA. And second, you can implement the latest thing, like you can implement push notifications in our website with the help of PWA. And the third most part is your website should be will be installable. Like you can install your website into the native platform, like you can convert your website that will look like as a Android applications in your mobile devices. Yeah. So, like, if you want to know more about PWA, you can go to the website like web.dev/PWA. Here, you can check out the resources for the PWA, and there is a code lab. You can also implement that things.
Guys, you all can mention all your doubts or questions in the chat box. So we have another question from Ikansh Singh Bist. What all skill set should I acquire to be a full stack developer?
Okay, so like for full stack developer, you have a basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Like these all are the fundamental. And then as a full stack developer, you need to focus on the front end as well as back end part. So we have a front end, like you can also create a front end application with the help of the frameworks, like you can use Vue.js, Angular, or a library like React.js. And then you can go for the backend application, so you can create an entire business logic or backend application with the help of JavaScript. So basically, if you're working on JavaScript as a backend developer, you have to work on Node.js, and it's a framework for creating a REST APIs. Maybe you can go for Express.js, and also you can also create like backend application with the help of Python, or like there's a framework like Django or Flask. You can use it. So like full stack is a combination of front end plus back end. So first you have to first you have to learn first front end technologies, and then you need to explore the back end technologies, and then you can be a like full stack developer.
Harshita Nohar asks, what is the difference between TensorFlow JS and normal TensorFlow built upon Python?
Okay, so first, like difference is for the web developers, like they can use machine learning on the web platform, and the second one is like still like TensorFlow.js, it is developing. Yeah, so successful like product for the developers that you can use for the machine learning, and with the help of Python, you can implement a lot, because Python is a they are providing a separate libraries like scikit-learn, or you can use any other machine learning libraries. So like yes, like if you are working on core machine learning part, you have to work on machine like Python, and the libraries like scikit-learn and NumPy and pandas and a lot of things. So like for core machine learning developers, you just need to go for the Python part, and like for the lighter version, like if you're working on machine learning for the development purpose, you can go for the web TensorFlow.js. Like if you check out this extension on Google Meet, there is a camera extension. Your picture will be converted into the, like you can add a cap, you can add some anything, you can add some object with the on the web platform, you can use with machine learning concept, TensorFlow.js.
Okay, so Harshit has a question. Any tips about doing good in backend?
Okay, so I always go for the basic concepts. Suggest you to go for the basic concept like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and how like basic fundamentals are working, like how you can use the browser, how browsers are working, how server are working, and then you have to decide the language for the backend applications. Like we have a lot of part for the backend developers. Like if you are working on JavaScript, you can go for the JavaScript as well as Node.js. If you're working on Ruby language, you can also create a backend application with the help of Ruby on Rails as a framework. Similarly, if you're working on C Sharp, you can also create a backend application with the help of C Sharp. Or if you're working on Python, you can also create. So first, you need to decide the language. Like either I can go for the JavaScript. So we have a JavaScript as a node, and Node.js is a combination for the writing business logic. So first you need to go to the basic concept, and then you need to decide the language for creating a backend applications. So if you have decided the language, then you can go for the you can learn the applications. You can create a simple backend business logic with the help of those language, and then you can go for the libraries like if you're working on Node.js, you can go for Express.js. If you're working on Python, you can go for Django or Flask. So you can use this way.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our session. On behalf of HackBMU 4.0 organizing team, I thank Mr. Vrijraj for taking out time from his extremely busy schedule to join us here. We would like to express our gratitude towards all our sponsors who are making all this possible. HackBMU 4.0 is brought to you by our platinum sponsor, DevFolio and Coding Ninjas, our gold sponsors, Matic, Fortis, and Tezos, our workshop and coding partners, CodeChef and Unacademy, partners JetBrains, Sketch, Rosenfeld, Balsamiq, No Starch Press, Tascade, Sashido, EcoAR, OnePassword, Exure, Egghead.io, The Codex, Code Asylums, Testmail, Badelog.in, Give My Certificate, and InMovido. Our digital learning partner, Board Infinity, and our media partners, Cryptopolitan and ED Times. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Don't forget to fill the feedback form for the session to receive your certificates. The link for the same is in the chat box. Once again, thank you, Mr. Richraj, for joining us here today.
Thank you everyone.